Hey guys, Nish Quick here, and we got another Xenoblade X Definitive Edition trailer. This video is just going to be sort of like the last one where I react to it, give my thoughts on it. I've already seen it because I was at work all day. This happened right when I got to my office and I watched it there. I was very happy with everything that I saw, reacted on social media, and now I just want to make a video on this and give my overall thoughts because this is a very, very good trailer. And I'm gonna title this video something along the lines of I'm finally convinced that Xenoblade Chronicles X is canon or something like that. And I will talk about a lot of that stuff much later on into the video because we got a lot of stuff with like a little bit of a definitive edition quality of life changes that I want to talk about first. But near the end of the video, I'll issue a massive spoiler warning because I'll be spoiling like every single Xenoblade game, and especially the end of Xenoblade Chronicles X. This will be your first time playing it with the definitive edition, so unfortunately I recommend that you skip out on that part. But let's react to this. I have a lot of notes. One thing I want to say right now is I think out of all the Xenoblade trailers that I've seen, even like after I started playing the series, I went back to watch some of the older ones like Xenoblade 2, especially because I wasn't around for the hype for that. Out of all of them, this might be a little bit of recency bias, but this trailer might just be one of my favorite Xenoblade Chronicles pre-release trailers that we got. The editing is fantastic, the scene selection, the shots, and the gameplay, the b-roll is all so well done. The cuts that they do, the music choice, the things that they're teasing, and they've teased at these things in very, very interesting ways, and they kind of know what we know. They know the stuff that we've seen, they know the stuff that we've been talking about. They can kind of subconsciously just tell in the back of their mind, and they're like, let's tease this, let's tease that, and I'll get to a lot of that stuff later. Here's something that I've been very curious of ever since the start of this whole announcement cycle for Xenoblade X DE, and it's what are they going to do with the UI, what are they going to do with especially the Frontier nav. So here, I haven't looked at all this, but I am just now realizing that a lot of these icons are very, very different. It's a wholly redesigned Frontier nav. So I'm assuming, yeah, you're here in Primordia. This is New LA right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. I don't think you can see my mouse. I'm not entirely sure, but we're you see these spikes over here. That's New LA, where that lock is. That's New LA, and then this whole continent will be Primordia, and you can see these evil looking eyes, looks like the eye of Sauron or something. Those seem to be the tyrants or the unique monsters. The probe looks the same. This treasure looks a little bit different, and I think later on in some other footage we'll see the icons for Basic Quest, Affinity Quest, and some other stuff like that. And I think we can see on the right that whole continent there seems to be Oblivia. I think Oblivia is east of Primordia. So this is something I've been very curious of. Okay, yeah, we see doing the field action. Okay, here is a very great shot. We got the minimap, it looks great, and look at this. We got Xenoblade Definitive Edition levels of quest tracking. You can see on the minimap in the top right, and even these indications on the screen over here as you're running. Follow ball is follow ball. Let's see. Is follow ball working the exact same as it was in the original? Yes, it does. He sent out the follow ball right as he entered that cave. And I love this. I love this. So let's see. Gather 3 big flea. These indigent names are hilarious. 3 big flea squashes in Oblivia. So in the original game, you would have had to look online or just get lucky. Just run around Oblivia, get all the little orbs, and hopefully 1 out of 300 would have been a big flea squash, and you would only need 3 of them. But now you can see exactly where each of these 3 are, and that's amazing. That saves so much time. Okay, text is readable. We'll see more of the text a little later on though. when we get into combat. I think we're about to get into combat. Oh, look at this. My buddy Yggdrasil on social media and on YouTube, shout outs to him, by the way. Awesome guy. He's gonna make some awesome Xenoblade X content, but he noticed this. Look at this. You guys know Xenoblade X, when you're in your Skell, when you're flying, you always hear the song Don't Worry. And like when you're in your Skell, when you get your flight module, you lose the ability to do a short hop, or not even a short hop, but just a jump. You can't jump anymore, but it seems like you can now. See, he's got the flight module and he's doing a jump, because every time you wanted to just like jump over a ledge, you would start flying, you would go airborne, and the song would play, and it was very annoying. So even like small, like tiny quality of life features like that, they paid attention. There's so much like care that went into this game. Okay, let's look at this. Combat UI, completely different, of course. Like, arts palette is a lot more spread out. The icons are a lot bigger. They're a lot more legible. Let me see if he like, yes, so he's hovering over these arts. You can actually read the descriptions. Tornado Blade deals weapon damage with an aura. And many people are like, oh, there's not much of a difference. Maybe it's because I spent 100+ hours in the original Xenoblade Chronicles X, but looking at this, it looks like it looks entirely new. It looks so new and so unique and so different, like very, very different. And I think the whole architecture of all this is very well done as well. Like, look at this, the morale bar. I'm assuming that this orange thing at the bottom left is the morale bar. I like that it's just kind of tucked away at the left side there. And that gives space over here on the right side for this Y button. And a lot of me and my friends were kind of wondering what the heck this is. And shout outs to Super Savagen here on Twitter. He realized that this is a new quick recast option. So it lets you skip cooldowns to reactivate an art. I don't really know exactly how that works right now. So like when you press Y, so like if that bar is full but it's not full here. That's so weird. I don't understand how this works. I'm assuming that when this green bar is full, if one of your arts is not recharged, you can hover over it, press Y, and it'll fully recharge, something like that. I have to look at more gameplay footage for that. Speaking of which, a lot of me and my friends are discussing about Xenoblade Chronicles X and talking about a lot of this on my Discord server. And my Discord server is linked in the description down below. Hopefully the invite link still works. I know there are some issues with the invite link and me having to generate a new one. So if it works, definitely join. We'd love to have you. We'd love to talk about Xenoblade X. And anyways, let's continue with this. Enough self-promotion. Another thing I like is you can see the secondary effects on the art icons themselves. So of course, like, the colors are still the same. Yellow for ranged, orange for melee. But you have these secondary effects in like light blue, and it contrasts so well with the actual art icon. So like even the blue aura art, this kind of secondary effect, I don't know if it's like blow down or whatever that is, it contrasts so well. Otherwise, like, you would have had to hover over it and read the description at the bottom. So that saves extra text that they would have had to have on the bottom. That text is gone. All you need is just this little icon to tell you, hey, this is the secondary effect. And same with TP arts. Okay, this is interesting. This is a question I have. So this debuff purple art has the TP icon. It's like a secondary effect there. So I assumed that meant that it was a TP art. And I think this arrow, I'm assuming it means you are required, or it's a good idea to attack from the front. But I'm curious why this ranged art still has TP on, like, straight on the icon itself. Also this aura art as well. So I'm not sure what the difference would be. Here's a really cool Easter egg I saw. This specific skull over here, AD0350, it is actually in the original version just known as the Varus. That's a pretty good starter skill, but now it's called Wells, and Wells is what it's known as in the Japanese version, but you Xenogears fans know that Wells is a very heavy reference to Xenogears. Weltall, of course, but then, of course, there's another thing in Xenogears that is known as the Wells, which, if you don't know what that is, just play Xenogears, guys. Been chilling this game for so much. Play it. Another cool thing is you can see exactly which weapon you're using right now. So it looks like he's using his rifle right now, his ranged weapon with the skull. He's on the side, you can see your positional. And over here, like when you're on ground, you can it tells you exactly which weapon you're using right now. This stuff, I'll talk about this now. I was gonna say I'll talk about it later, but I'm probably gonna go through the rest of the video, the rest of the trailer and forget. This is very unique. So, if you guys don't know, Overdrive is basically the equivalent of, I would call it the equivalent of a chain attack, because, like, chain attacks are, like, your big, like, combo attack that you do in your Xenoblade games. Overdrive is your big, powerful attack, but it is a very strategic and very tactical move that you're supposed to do. It's actually kind of difficult to figure out the mechanics surrounding it, because one, the game doesn't teach you. There's no like formal tutorial. You have to look in the online menu, and it's just a very complicated thing to understand, a very complicated thing to master. You need to have the right builds for it and all that, but having this overdrive counter guidance and this color combo guidance is very, very good just to refer to. Of course, it's hard to do it in the thick of overdrive, because overdrive is very quick. As you know, as some of you guys might know, it lasts like 15 to 20 seconds, so you can't look at this like you can look at a blade combo chart, but this really does remind me of a blade combo chart, and it's honestly it's just a lot easier to read, way more easier to read than a blade combo chart, and it looks like it's optional. You can press minus to close it. If it's too obtrusive, you know exactly what you need to do, you don't need this, you don't need the guide, you can close it, and that's very good, that's very helpful, that's very nice to have. I really appreciate that, and Monolith Soft is really stepping it up with their user experience and user interface, so kudos to them. This overdrive gear, the counter and the timer looks a lot better, looks great. Oh, also, we got a better look of this in the next shot, but let's go. Yeah, so we finally know when it's advantageous to use certain arts, certain positional arts and all that. Look, we got the exclamation from Xenoblade DE and Future Redeem. For some reason, they didn't have it in Xenoblade 3, and I don't know why. I have no explanation as to why they removed it. Okay, now we're gonna get into more like story stuff. So what I realized, and what some people were saying about Xenoblade X DE basically, is our confusion with the extra story. Is it going to be like future connected? You have the extra story in there, but you won't be able to access it till the very end of the game, or can you access it at the very beginning of the game? Because like for people like me who recently played the game, we could just skip to the very end and see all the new stuff. But from the looks of this right now, it looks like it might be taking a page from a game like, say, Persona 4 Golden or Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal has that third semester at the very end of the game, and the rest of the game is relatively the same story beats, same palaces, same dungeons, same characters, but you have new events and new story scenarios that you experience even throughout the base game of Persona 5 Royal. Like, you have new characters like Maruki and Kasumi, you have new like scenarios and events that you're doing like with your classmates. Like, all that wasn't in the vanilla Persona 5, but it's in Persona 5 Royal because they integrated it within the main events of the game, so it's almost like you're re-experiencing Persona 5 with some newer elements. I have a feeling that that's what Xenoblade X is doing, and we don't really know yet. The messaging and the communication regarding the additional extra story is still a little vague right now, but with this specific scene and another one later, I can really feel like they can take place within the story itself if the story is expanded a little bit in some areas. So like there are at least two story scenarios that I can think of that take place in Solum, and I feel like this mysterious character who we'll see right now could appear in one of those. And whoever this character is, you got a really awesome, really cool Skell.
Give me a call. I happen to be a pretty competent pilot.
Yeah, give her a call. They happen to be a very competent pilot. They seem to be an already established blade. You can see there on their chest, it says blade. And also what's very cool about this character is, let's look at their Skell. It's got those really cool turbines. And you see that here? Oh, it looks like we can fly in the Skell too, which is awesome. But I want to go back to, yeah, Yggdrasil showed over here. Look at this. I love when concept design or scrapped ideas are given a second chance. Believe this is marked. Yeah, this was marked as the Black Knight's Skell, and it's a lot more smaller, a lot sleeker, but a lot of this design is carried over. Like these turbines over here, like it's a lot smaller, and it was originally meant to be for the Black Knight, but we see it over here. It's back, and these wings at the bottom, I don't know if this same scale. Oh, it does. I didn't notice that. It does. It has those wings at the bottom. Let's see it over here as well. That is cool. That's something I didn't notice. That makes me even more curious. Yeah, you see those wings right over there. It was on the legs and then it just goes onto the side. Very awesome design. That makes me even more curious who the heck that masked pilot is. And yeah, we know this. This is chapter 5, I think. You fight Goetia in Oblivia. I'm trying to go slow. So we see these two skulls. They look like they got faces. First of all, the faces remind me of two things. One is final boss of Future Redeemed, Alpha, final form. It's got that similar kind of face, but also reminds me of the faces of Origin. You know, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Origin has faces. Two faces, actually. One for the Kevis side, one for the Agnes side. And the faces, if you guys didn't know, resemble Mainith and Amalthus. So I'm wondering if we'll have some sort of like Animus connection with these Skells, and these Skells I am convinced are Clerian, and I'll tell you why. You can see another face there they are, and it seems that this is our Clerian friend over here. I absolutely love her design, but here's the really cool thing. We have seen this character before, again, in the art book. I will show you guys over here. I made this tweet over here. So this character, in the art book, we kind of just know her as Neil Nell. I think that's how her name is pronounced. But this is a tweet I made actually on November 11th, 2024. So just about a month after XDE was announced, I said, I swear, Xenoblade X Definitive Edition needs to bring back Neil Nell in some way in a side quest or in the extra story. We were robbed of another amazingly designed Clerian. So yeah, Celica was the only Clerian we knew of in the base game of Xenoblade X, and we hardly knew about her race or her tribe, the Clerian. And they're just kind of like a forgotten afterthought, and we're just glad that Celica was even in the game. And look at this scrap design. It would be so sad if a character as awesomely designed as this is just scrapped. And color me surprised when I saw the trailer this morning. The design that stuck out to me was this. I was like, that cannot be Neil Nell. If it is, that is insane. And the reason that she has been dubbed Neil Nell is, yeah, of course, that's the name that she was labeled as in the art book, but also those skulls that we saw You fight them in the what is it called? It's like the challenge battle or something. Like you go into the blade barracks and you can like choose like these special battles to boost your BP and your affinity and stuff. And one of the battles is fighting these exact skells, and their names are Neil Nell Albus and Neil Nell something else. My friend was telling me that. I never fought them, but they were always there, and everyone was like, it feels like they would have related back to this Clarion woman over here. And I'm just so glad she's in the game. Amazingly designed character. Honestly, she's probably gonna be at the very top of my Xenoblade waifu tier list as well, like contending with Melia, Nia, and this is just with one look of hers in the second trailer of this game. I just hope she has a very prominent role to play in the story, and I hope she's a playable character. That's a little bit too much wishful thinking. Anyways, let's continue on with the... Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to say here is this part in Oblivia feels like it could take place in the same chapter as this, where you're fighting Goetia. I'm just kind of predicting. I don't know exactly if it's going to be integrated into the base game. It would have to have a lot of rewriting and like meshing around of things and rearranging of the script and the scenario and all that. So I don't know if it'll be that altered, but that would be very interesting if they do decide to do that, because I'm curious, are we going to go back to other familiar continents in the extra story at the very end, which we'll see here in a bit? Will we go back to Primordia, Oblivia, Sylvalum, all those places? So yeah, otherwise, game looks amazing, game looks great, everything looks pristine and great. And now, here we are. Okay, so the rest of the notes I have are basically relating to all this new stuff. This stuff is very cool. This looks like, of course, a new area. Where is it within Mira? I have no clue. It looks like a secluded kind of area. Like, it looks like you're surrounded in this kind of like force field or something for some reason. So I guess it's time to talk about where the story is going. We get to see the Black Knight unmasked, and that was a very big shocker for me. I thought they would wait a little longer for that. So here he is, and he has white hair, similar to another person we know very much here. I had this whole like Black Knight theory brewing. It was after I beat the game, but also after the release of the first trailer. Like, I was kind of like, oh, what if it's Malos, all that stuff. Like, we all kind of knew that it would probably be Elma's partner, but now I'm more kind of convinced that it is Elma's partner, and I think now is a time to give you guys a official spoiler warning for Xenoblade Chronicles X's base game. If you guys haven't played the game, I really appreciate you guys joining in, and thank you so much for watching up to this point. But it would be great if you guys play the game without knowing any of this stuff, because of course this is very huge spoilers, but I will be trying to connect it to other Xenoblade games as well, and I will come right out and say that I think from what we see here in this trailer, there seems to be a lot of connections to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and me and a few of my friends, specifically like some of my friends in the Discord server, and then I was talking about this with Jake Dumbzino quite a bit, about how Xenoblade X can be connected to the Klaus games through Xenoblade 3 with the concepts that we know of Origin and Ionios and how a lot of that works. It's very interesting that they had Xenoblade 3, they had Future Redeemed, and literally the next game right now is Xenoblade X. And a lot of this trailer specifically, this trailer is giving us a lot of this insight into a lot of that origin stuff. And this scene right here with the what it looks like to be the Black Knight's skull, I didn't notice a lot of this, but one of my mutuals on Twitter and Blue Sky, he pointed this out to me actually on Blue Sky. Siren Hermit, I think, is his username, but he was saying on there, he was like, oh, the look of the skull is very indicative to like what's going to be happening in this extra story and how it relates back to the original games. And this part of the trailer is so quick, it's so lightning quick, I didn't even notice it. But then when I went back to watch it, when he said that, I was kind of blown away. I was like, oh wait, yeah, I see it now, I see it. And I'll show you guys this. You guys can see the skull, right? What does that color scheme remind you of? What does this color scheme remind you of? Let me show you guys something. Agnian Ouroboroses. The Agnian Ouroboros is white and dark purple. Very similar color scheme to this. Like, if you just look at this from a distance, you can almost like feel like it's Tyon's Ouroboros. And if you look very, very, very carefully, also these look like they're ghosts. So looks like the main threat and the main villain of the extra story will be the ghosts, and that's very great. We'll finally get ghost lore, but look at that skull. Look at that skull. Look at the cores. I was saying, like, it looked to be its like armpits. Like in Discord, I was like, look at his armpits. Look at those areas. It's got, this is very, very choppy. It's got that same kind of Ouroboros interlinking going on. This is a concept art of that same skull that we saw. It's just known as the original Ares skull. And when it comes to a lot of like Xenoblade X lore, I may be a little bit rusty. I'm still new to all the lore and a lot of this stuff because I literally just beat the game like 6 months back or so. But like, so if I get anything wrong, please respectfully let me know in the comments. This is just a kind of crackpot theory of mine, but we see this skull, and it is a tandem skull. It is 2 people operating the skull at the same time. And what is more is, oh, I don't have that artwork here, but there is more artwork of this kind of Ares skull, and it looks very much like the final Ouroboros interlink that we combine into at the end of Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed, and we use that to punch Alpha in the face. It looks very similar to that in the concept art, but the point is that concept art of that giant Ouroboros, which is the Ares, it also has a lot of those Ouroboros cores that we see over here, these like pinkish, purplish Ouroboros cores, which look like these interlink cores over here. You see the similarities? Yeah. And as we know, at the end of the game, Elma is an alien. Elma came from space down to Earth, and she brought all her technology and all the skulls and all the life hold tech and all the Maranium tech and all that stuff. I think she did come in this tandem skull, but if she came in this tandem skull, I don't think she could have come alone. Of course, there's 2 people piloting it, and many people are like, oh, they're piloting it together when they were fighting against the aliens, fighting against the ghosts and the ganglion, and then when they arrived in Mira, they were piloting it together, and then he left, he took it on his own, and then she was left back on Mira and all that, right? I think that they have been piloting it for however long that they have been piloting it. So when they came from space down to Earth, they were already piloting this skull together, and they had that Ouroboros connection. They had that interlinking connection within this skull. So yeah, we already got that Ouroboros interlinking kind of stuff going on. So yeah, and that means that Elma isn't the only one from space. So this Black Knight, as we've called him, Black Knight, he is presumably Elma's original partner. We get a very quick glimpse of him. It looks like his mim form, because this is also, we see over here, this is Elma's mim form. This is her mimiosome form, which makes her look human, because otherwise she's still an alien. So this guy here doesn't look like an alien like Elma did. He looks like a human or a mimiosome, and he's got that white hair, similar to Elma, connecting him to Elma. So that's another thing. And we don't know what race or what alien race or anything like that. We don't know what Elma is. We don't know who she is and where they've come from and all that, but we can definitely get a lot more lore and a lot more answers if this guy is from the same race, if he's known Elma so much longer, and yeah. This skull obviously reminds us of Ouroboros, which is very similar to interlinking, which is similar to Xenoblade 3 in that way. But you know what else is similar to Xenoblade 3? It is the life hold and Mira itself. So the life hold itself really reminds me of Origin. Origin can construct new life through memories and data, and that data is done in the form of core crystals. The life hold still uses data and memories to create new bodies, new humans, new life forms, things like that. It's very, very similar to Origin. A lot of my friends who played Xenoblade X before Xenoblade 3 saw the Origin cutscene and they're like, what? Life hold? What's going on here? And another thing I gotta say is, I've said this before in my last video, and I've said this to many friends and stuff, but Mira is astonishingly similar to Ionios. There's very strange phenomenon that are happening around, like you're able to understand the foreign species, like what they're saying. Like it's almost like the planet is translating the language itself. It's very, very astonishingly crazy that everyone is still alive when their life hold unit has been absolutely destroyed and they should be dead. So it seems like the planet Mira is keeping them alive. Like there's truly something about this planet, and it's very weird. The other thing is, like, you know how Ionios is like just a bunch of like pieces of Bionis and Allrest just kind of stuck together and glued together? That's sort of what Mira is. Like these 5 continents are just kind of like jumbled together. If you like see the map, it looks very like misshapen and it looks weird. So I truly think that whatever is like causing a lot of these problems here in Mira, it is relating to Origin or something relating to Origin. And how does this all tie back to the Black Knight and to Elma? This is such a long-winded way of me saying all of this. So hear me out when I say this. You guys remember Mobius, right? And of course, the original 3 Mobius are X, Y, and Z. And they were created through like the wills of the people within Origin. And they are manifestations of Origin itself. They were like created by Origin. They aren't like human. They aren't like any other race. They are Mobius created from Origin to fulfill a purpose, and they can do a lot of these like crazy phenomenon, like creating the flame clocks, creating these blades within Xenoblade 3. The weapons that all the soldiers use, those are created by the Mobius, and the irises, and the whole like system of Ionios. The way things are and the way life is, it's all done through Mobius and what Mobius has been doing to perpetuate this endless now. I feel like if Origin in whatever way wills something to happen, it will manifest, because the people and the souls within Origin didn't want to move on to a new future, and that will manifested into Mobius. Similarly here, if Origin or something similar to Origin is here within Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think it is manifested into the Black Knight and into Elma, because we don't know the races. What if they are not Mobius, but they are origin creations similar to Mobius? They're kind of like anti-Mobius. This is the most crackpot theory ever, but like I was talking to Dumb Xeno about this and I was like, what if the Black Knight is a Mirren console? But he's not just a Mirren console, but like he is like a space console. What if Origin is affecting a lot of the stuff that's happening within the universe? That's why there's a lot of turmoil within these different alien races. A lot of them end up on Mira, and a lot of this conflict is happening in Mira. I don't know why this is happening, but I have a feeling that at least this Black Knight is the same race as Elma, and they have a very strong connection to Origin, and they have a very strong connection to a lot of the principles and the constructs of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, whether it's Ouroboros interlinking, whether it is Origin through the life hold, whether it's the console and Mobius roles that they have to play. There's something very weird and fishy going on here, and I explained that in the most convoluted way possible, and I apologize for that. It's been a very long day, but that is what I have to say about that. And I want to look at one last thing. Let's see what the Black Knight's skull looks like over here. Here we go. That's not him. Wait, I'll need to turn the volume on for this. If not for the efforts of a lone hero, we would not have survived. There he is. Same kind of color scheme, purple and white. The scale looks very different. Of course, this was like 10 years back. They probably redesigned it. That's gotta be him. And that's him. That's him fighting the ghost. Of course, his scale looks very different in this. You see the ghost, that seemed to be the ghost. I'm assuming that's a ghost. There he is fighting the ghost again. I don't know if this is at the very beginning of the game before they crash onto Mira with the white whale, before he gets separated from everyone else. But that's him. That's in a very similar, if not the same scale, but now it's got like a Ouroboros interlink core design. So there is a lot of meaning behind this, and I'm very curious to see what this all means. And to cap off this video, I just want to give you guys an idea of like what my plans for this game are in terms of playing the game, content creation, and all that. Right now, it seems like the extra story won't be able to be viewed until you get to that part in the game. It's kind of unfortunate. It's whatever. I don't mind playing the game again, but what's going to make the game even more fun to play again is I'll be live streaming it. I plan to. I want to try to live stream at least like twice a month, if not more or less. So I'm definitely excited to play the game once again with you guys, and I am excited to play it in handheld mode. I'm excited to play it on the Switch too, see if there's any good substantial upgrades for it on the Switch too. And yeah, one more thing I want to tease is sometime this weekend I am planning to maybe do a EXP podcast discussion with my buddy Dumb Xeno on this. Like I referenced him a few times in this video talking about some of the story implications and all that, and that will be a full-on spoiler cast for Xenoblade X and predictions, and that's just a tease as to some of the stuff that's coming. Very excited for this game. I'm even more hyped now. Wow, number 11 on trending. That's pretty good. It's pretty nice. I really like this trailer, and the more I watched, the more I got out of it, the more things I saw. We were paused on a very interesting still right here. Shouldn't have unpaused. We'll pause on Elma's beautiful face here. This trailer was very good. I had a really fun time chatting with everyone on social media about it. Yeah, I'm very excited to play this game. I don't know if my theories will be correct. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been great chatting with you guys about this. I am so happy we finally got to see Neil Nell. I'm so happy She's real, and she's actually going to be in this game. I'm so happy I predicted that. Anyways, give this video a like, subscribe for more content like this, and yeah, get excited for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day, and go play some great games today, like a Xenoblade game on the Nintendo Switch. See you guys in the next one later. Hey guys, this is Nishquick. Thank you so much for watching that video. And if you enjoyed it, check out these two videos on the left and maybe subscribe if you haven't on your way out. And big shout out to all my channel members whose names you can see on the screen right now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.